Right, I'm starting a first days in jail playlist. So anyone who's done any time, feel free to contact me with your story. A friend out of Oklahoma sent me his story. He was only 19. This was back in 2010. So I'm going to read it you. These county jails are no joke. All kinds of crazy shit happens. When I was 19, I chose the wrong friends at the job I was at. One day I got a text asking if I could help someone move, so I went. After arriving at my house, 2 cops asked to search my vehicle with 3 of us in it. I had stuff packed inside my SUV. Not thinking I'd done anything wrong, I let them search, and they ended up finding stolen items in my co-worker's bag, 2 laptops and some small miscellaneous items. They asked whose it was and nobody was talking. Because it was my car, I was guilty by association. So I ended up in this pod out of 4 in a small jail from a small town, Beckham County Jail in Sayre, Oklahoma. So the same thing as me happened, where the white gang asked for my charges. I told them and showed them my papers. So it was all cool for the first 30 minutes. Here's where he messes up now. He's been accepted. His charges are okay. He's not a chomo. But now he starts to open his mouth. Me not knowing what jail was like since I'd never had issues with the law before, we were all talking and I mentioned about trying to join the police academy a year previous. No. Look, prison survival advice: if you've ever applied for a job as a cop or a guard, don't say anything if you end up inside. This guy has just dug himself a huge hole. Well, from there it spiraled, and so at lockdown I went into my cell with my bunkie and the guards noticed the hostility and locked it down. They started to throw urine through the hole and shouting at my bunkie to take my items and fight me, which we both refused. So they're trying to get the prisoner to smash him, his cellmate to smash him. At lunchtime, they transferred us to a different pod and cell where it was run by the Irish mob and Mexican mafia. It was overcrowded and only 2 bunks left were in the Mexican cell, which has space for 4, only 2 were in there. So the whites took us upstairs and talked to us, looked at our paperwork and told us that we needed to go claim our bunks in the Mexican cell. I stopped and thought about it and decided not to just move in on them. So I walked down the stairs, sat down with 2 Mexicans and said, I need to move into your room. So he's not just steamrolled in there, he's doing the sensible thing. He's trying to just handle this situation diplomatically. So the Mexican gang member said, by whose orders? And then he said, nobody's. I don't want to sleep on the floor upstairs. I just wanted to come to you and make sure you're cool. So the second Mexican said, well, he came and asked in a respectful way, so I'm saying yes. So they let him move in, and he was finally thinking he wasn't screwing up anymore. Let's see how long this lasts. Now the other guy I was with was getting told by the Irish that he needed to claim what was his and move into that cell. So he took his mat and just started walking into the cell. The Mexicans yelled that if he went into the cell they would jump him. So he kept going and they warned him one more time, shouting, I'll beat your fucking arse if you go in the cell, white boy. Well, he kept going in and went in and set his stuff down. You can't just crash your way into the gang's house like that. Man, this is not good. Gate crashing the Mexican gang members' house. The 2 gang members jumped up from the table and rushed into the cell. All you could hear was help, help, help. I was just frozen. The Irish were laughing. Everyone was just so casual about the violence. I'm watching the cell door from the table and I saw him crawling out and they yanked him back in, kicked him in the head multiple times against the toilet, stabbed him once in the gut. Mexican guy walks out of the cell and sat back down. The guy was somehow able to walk out of the room limping, holding onto the wall. There was crap running down him, and there's crap all over him and the cell. They literally beat the shit out of him. It was only an expression I'd heard. I never thought it could happen. Yeah, I saw so many people get smashed, or just from one punches sometimes, and just shit the pants. People were just crapping the pants all the time in the county jail because what was going on. So he walks to the main door, hits the button, they come up and get him, and it was so messed up. An hour later he was forced to clean up his crap, and then the guards put him into protective custody. When the guards came in asking about it, nobody said anything, and then they started yelling, "Take this other white bitch with you." Anyone calls you a bitch, that's fighting words. It's heavy. So they took me to a pod for protective custody and trustees, since I was forced out of both open mail pods. Once I arrived, I was assigned with two other guys, placed in a boat. Unfortunately, the two guys I'm in a cell with, one's a murderer and one's a chomo. Chomo's child molester. You can imagine how high tensions were. Days later, from upstairs, I saw water dripping from the top tier. 3 days before my release, we were out in the common area, and this chomo had called out a renounced Aryan brother. That's a guy who has given up the gang lifestyle and renounced his membership in the Aryan Brotherhood prison gang. So, the chomo told the Aryan he needed to stop being a little bitch. They both went into a cell, and I heard the gang member screaming loudly. The chomo had stabbed the guy and attempted to cut off his hand. He ran out the cell screaming, blood just flying and landing everywhere. When the guards came in and took him, we never saw him again. 2 days later we heard he died because the main artery was cut in his wrist, and he bled out before anyone could get to him. Things that normally you would survive, like getting cut in such and such a place on your body, you go hospital. Forget about that in jail. You get cut in jail, you got sick in jail, you get on the floor flapping like a fish having seizures in jail. No doctors coming rushing to help you. They just let you bleed out and die quite often. And that sounds like what's happened here. Especially if someone gets you in the chest near your heart or in your femoral artery near your thigh. No way are you going to get to hospital in time. So that's all. My story's not as crazy as yours, Shaun, but still, I'm glad you took the time out of your day to read it. Cheers, really appreciate that, my friend in Oklahoma. If anyone else has got any first days in jail's story as crazy as these, please contact me. I'll start reading some more, putting them on this YouTube playlist, First Days in Jail. My first days in jail will already be on the playlist, if you want to check that out. Appreciate you subbing and commenting and liking the videos. Cheers from London. Take care out there.